Hello and welcome. My name is Doug Heath and this is Stars and Bars Powersports. Today we're going to jump straight back into the 250R project. If you haven't seen the first couple episodes, be sure to go back and check those out so you don't miss anything. But I finally got the Cerekoting done on all of these parts, which was definitely a learning experience. I tried to do as much research as I could, but it's just kind of one of those things that you have to learn by doing it. Plus I'm not exactly working in a professional shop, so I don't have some of the equipment that could really make things a lot easier. But I was able to get a good system worked out and the parts turned out great. The burnt bronze looks awesome. It is a little flatter than I thought it would be, so I'll probably try to adjust the catalyst ratio next time to try to give it a glossier finish, but I think the contrast is actually going to look really good on this project. And the black turned out great too. It's not quite as glossy as the black powder coat, but again, I think the contrast should look really good. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting on my cylinder and crank to get back with a fresh bore and a rebuild, so we're not going to be able to get the engine put together just yet. So today we're going to take care of the things that we can do, like the brakes, the throttle, the clutch, and we'll probably put on the radiator and the airbox and anything else that can go on before the engine's in. That way, hopefully, the first start and the first ride can be in the same video once we get those parts back. So we're going to get started on rebuilding all of these parts. They're all OEM aside from the Magura hydraulic clutch, and everything's getting put back together with a combination of OEM parts and aftermarket rebuild kits. I've got Galliper pads for the calipers, and there's all new bolts for everything. I am reusing the slide pins and the pad clips for the front just because these are in really good shape and OEM replacements are kind of spendy. But there's not a speck of dirt left on anything, and with all the important stuff getting replaced, it's all going to work like brand new. So I've got all my stuff organized here to make things go together easier, but I'm going to get after it so we can see what they're going to look like on the quad. Alright guys, so these parts are looking incredible. I think I might have found my new favorite color combination with this. I especially like the clutch master cylinder with this little red adjustment knob on here. It just looks so sweet. But I've got all the stuff that I need to put all these parts onto the machine, as well as my radiator up there. That's a Chinese eBay special, but it should do just fine with the OEM rock guard. I actually got the 88-89 style instead of the 86-87 because I heard with the 86-87 there's some issues with the outlet tube on the bottom where you have to heat it up and bend it out. So I just decided to get the 88-89 and avoid that issue. Then I'm going to throw on the 4Works carbon fiber radiator shrouds right away. And I've also got my CFM Performance air box, which is another really cool part that I actually only got because the OEM plastic one that I had was cracked. And the replacement prices were pretty similar between quality OEM and aftermarket. So I just went with the aluminum. But I'm getting tired of talking already, so I'll bring you guys back in a few minutes after I get this stuff put on. So this quad is really starting to come together, and I couldn't be happier with the results. I was a little nervous to do the Cerekote, and there were multiple times during the process that I questioned, why didn't you just pay someone else to do this? But everything turned out all right. I did run into a couple of issues putting the rest of the parts on though. I had to trim the tab on the radiator that holds the guard because it was hitting the steering stem, and it still barely clears, so I'm going to keep an eye on it and possibly have to trim it a little bit more. The front brake lines are actually for extended A-arms, so I'm going to have to find a way to secure the slack in those and make it look nice until the +2s are on. Then out back, I ran into a bigger problem with the brake caliper bracket, and I'm starting to think that it's not actually for a TRX250R. It was purchased in a parts lot, so it's possible that it's from a different machine and it just coincidentally worked perfectly up till this point. Whatever the case, I'm going to have to get a new one of those coming, and I'm going to get a new rear brake line because this one seems a little long and it's rubbing the shock, and I don't like that. Also, there is a large gap between the radiator and the shrouds, which seems odd. If anybody has experience with the forework shrouds, let me know in the comments if you ran into the same issue, because it really doesn't seem like it's going to send much air through the radiator. But this is where we're going to wrap up this episode. I'll try to get the next video out as soon as I get my engine parts back. I did see a charge on my credit card from LA Sleeve, so hopefully it won't be too much longer, but all I can do is sit and wait. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So until the next one, thanks for watching.